of Toriko is so unique. It's this thrilling and action-packed series that takes you on this culinary adventure in a food-themed world, having you explore it and fight baddies in order to create these mouth-watering creations. How do you think there's a bite mark on my TV? Just my adobo mascot Timmy the Taco. Anyway, as someone who always wants to enjoy life to its fullest, I always wanted to explore a world like this. Only one problem. This tastes awful! Thankfully, there are a whole variety of Toriko video games that will allow me to explore this unique world without having me... So let's freaking do this! The first Toriko game is Toriko Gourmet Survival on the PSP Banasumi, and this is a linear adventure game in which you're exploring Megmori Island, which is pretty much this giant cheeseburger in the middle of the ocean that consists of 5 zones: Bun's Jungle, Meat Wildland, Cheese Cave, Submarine Cave, and Hell! I knew it! And unlike McDonald's, Satan is a mission go, but rather exploring around the island, hitting 5 of these pimple-looking thingies in order to make this flower bloom as I go. And trust me, it's worth it, as the ingredients that lie in this flower will make the soup we're trying to make much better. Are you sure? Anyway, on to exploring, starting with Bun's Jungle, in which you're pretty much tasked with following whatever the mission tells you to follow, with some levels having you collect specific items, having you explore a different part of the island, and defeating enemies and heading back in base in order to complete the mission. I personally really like the fact that it's a mission-based structure. It kind of reminds me of following the cookbook, which fits the game's theme really well. And hey, if you're not in the mood for doing something the mission requires you to do, you can always skip it and do some missions out of order. Do this at your own risk though. Huh? What do you mean? And speaking of instructions, how do you play this game? Well, you got your basic move and attack jargon you expect from any 3D adventure game like this, with dodge buttons, special attacks, targeting someone, 2-player support. Yeah, you get it. The unique thing about this gameplay is, as you can imagine, it being food related. See this food and level up meter? You'll need to collect the food in order to increase these bad boys. Oh, you thinking it's grab a piece of meat you just killed and chomp it up? Silly you, that's not how life works. Wait, what? You'll have to combine a bunch of ingredients together in order to eat something. How can I even prepare my meals? There's no kitchen! What? Thankfully, these recipes are easier to make than whatever the heck is in that Taco Bell meat. It's pretty hard not to at least have enough ingredients to create most of the recipes this game offers. Which is good because you need to eat this food to level up. That's right, food not only heals you, but levels you up as well. I personally love this mechanic, as the more you suck at this game, the more food you have to eat to heal and level up. Oh. Seriously though, you'll need to level up, as not only do these enemies get harder and harder as the game progresses, but leveling up allows you to unlock moves like the ability to double jump and perform much longer combos. You won't need to resort to eating your fellow mascot though, as if you don't have enough food, the game actually allows you to explore the full world and give you the freedom to do pretty much everything via a action in the menu. And man, this is honestly where the game is at its best. The game is filled with vibrant visuals and lively animations that instantly caught my attention. The vivid colors, attention to detail, and the fact that, get this, you can play as other characters besides Toriko with their own unique movesets truly made me feel like I was immersed in the universe of Toriko. There's honestly not many anime games that satisfy this sensory pleasure obsession I have when it comes to life. But man, this game just nails it while manages to stand out from other games. Complaint time! Besides what do you mean I can't just eat the food I just killed? You know how hard it was for me to kill enemies while I'm on low health? I mean, look at this! There also is the typical clunky camera issues, not allowing any options to move your camera around. Though I will say it does allow you to target enemies, which would be helpful if it weren't for the fact that it targets another enemy you weren't looking at half the time. And not only are your eyes dead, but your feet are too in this game. The worst part about this game is the fact that there are random times in which this game goes like, LOL, let's lock this character from traveling anywhere unless he defeat all the enemies. But enemies not only keep respawning, but each time one respawns, they are much harder to defeat. Man, that pickle was delicious. No. All in all, despite these issues, this is a solid anime game worth playing. And if you thought this was the best Toriko games has to offer, let's talk about the sequel, shall we? Starting with Toriko Gourmet Survival 2 on the PSP and Asumi. Honestly, it's just an improved version of this game, featuring 4 player support instead of 2, more characters to play as, and finally being able to eat food without the need of creating complex dishes. My personal favorite change has to be the boss battles though. For context, the last game's boss battles were pretty much like, hey, recognize this baddie? Boom, now he's bigger. And, well, bigger doesn't necessarily mean better. Hey, why is the camera on Timmy and not me? But man, this game, well, makes the bosses big as well. But look at this, look at it. It actually has boss cycles you need to memorize and adapt to. Look at this epic cutscene, wham! We get to go inside him? I don't know about you, but something's just funny about the fact that you can cook meat inside, well, meat. Besides these improvements and another solid game exclusive story that features characters that, cool fact, make a brief appearance in episode 69 of the anime, this is yet another fun game. This brings us to the final game of the Toriko Survival series, Toriko Ultimate Survival on the 3DS by Natsumi. And hey, would you look at that? They finally allowed you to control the camera. Not that the camera was needed anyway, I got used to its clunkiness. Wait, why are you zooming in? No, don't zoom in on Pimple! Not the Pimple! And not even pimples can stop you from knowing the fact that they completely overhauled the cooking system, making it not only much more organized, but allowing you to increase whatever attributes you want. Want to get stronger? Eat meat. Want to have more health? Eat herbs. What do you mean? Be careful about eating too much though, as your bad luck meter increases as well, making you more likely to be trapped in one of those annoying rooms that keep spawning in stronger enemies with no escape. Is that why obese people die faster than non-obese people? Despite this newfound bad luck though, you'll still enjoy some improvements and new features such as being able to fish for food now, obstacles in the way like these pumpkins that shorten your vision and make you slower, and a vast amount of new characters filled with unique gimmicks like Komashu being able to suck recently killed food into bento boxes to eat later. Alright, time for some lunch. Does this mean you recently died and we're in heaven now? But will you step in some bento bosses in the next Toriko game? Toriko Gourmet Battle on the 3DS by hand. This is actually a fighting game, having you deploying the enemy's health in a whole variety of unique stages such as Festival Sky, Gourmet World, and we can't forget about Ice Hell. And this game has 24 unique characters with alternate costumes as well, but you're only allowed to play as 4 characters with 1 costume at the start. So how do you unlock these characters and costumes? With a stereotypical single-player story mode. That's right, each character has this linear mission mode you get to follow, which pretty much boils down to a mixture of, hey you, let's fight each other, and hey you, kill this non-playable boss that you can't even fight because they are just background gimmicks, so defeat me again to defeat this boss. And speaking of getting, not only do you get the characters and costumes for winning, but level increases and, of course for Toriko being Toriko, a ton of delicious recipes you can craft as well to help give you boosts. And trust me, let's just say with the interesting gameplay, you're gonna need a ton of food. The controls are simple enough. You have a whole variety of punches and combos you can perform against these baddies, but the way special moves work in this game is what makes this game really unique, as instead of increasing your special attack meter via damaging opponents or staying alone in a corner awkwardly charging it, you have to go out your way to defeat enemies and or find food on the ground and eat it in order to get these special moves. And trust me, you'll want to do this, as some special moves are so powerful that they literally one-hit KO you. Plus, the AI fighters kinda don't know what to do while you're eating the food, so they just awkwardly stand there waiting for you to finish. I'm eating. I'm still eating. Yep, still eating. And food isn't your only friend, but you also have items scattered throughout the stage to use as well as support characters that you can choose before each battle that, just like with food, gives you certain buffs. Too bad the buffs don't include increasing the opening poses because... let's just say they need it. Really though, the best thing about this game are the stages themselves. Being able to interact with the stage enemies via eating them, and a whole variety of gimmicks each stage presents, make this yet another game that immerses you in the world of Toriko. Is this game a competitive game but a competitive fighting scene? No. Is this the most innovative game? No. It's pretty much a clone of Power Stone. But if you're looking for a goofy, fun fighting experience with some friends, this game is definitely worth checking out. But if you're lonely like Timmy... wait, why is the camera on me? There are arcade and endless modes as well, meaning you're staring at these cringy opening animations over and 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 over again. Let's move on to the final Toriko game, shall we? The final Toriko game is Toriko Gourmet Monsters on the 3DS by Bandai Namco. And get this is a monster racing RPG. That's right, the series of games that had you pretty much going like, yeah! Now allows you to race these creatures via catching them in the wild. Not only do catching these monsters allow you to get cool information in regards to them and naming these animals, to wish I named them after the sound they made, but they can also help fight the variety of enemies you're going to be facing throughout the level. And trust me, there's a ton of enemies to be captured or defeated. Over 200 in fact. And you can battle them all throughout the level via exploring these large maps to gain percents. Or considering the fact that you can see where the enemies are, you can just ignore them then wonder why you keep getting one hit KO whenever you encounter one of the boss battles in this game. It's not like I did that or anything though. You won't want to ignore these baddies though, because man, I love the battling system this game presents. It has the typical RPG things you've come to expect. You take turns attacking each other with a whole variety of special moves and attack. There are a whole variety of ways to heal yourself via the objects you find in the maps, and you got the basic level up system that will allow you and your monsters to unlock new abilities as the game progresses. But what makes this game really unique are two things: the food and the monsters. Starting with the food, see this calorie meter? Well, doing special attacks deplete that. So what better way to heal your calorie meter than somehow convincing the baddies to wait until our dear friend Komatsu finishes cooking this meal, then still being allowed to attack after healing. Which some might say is overpowered, but I say is a form of dominance. This brings us to the monsters. They pretty much act as other party members you can control, which depending on what attack you did, causes there to be a timer to count down to when you can use them again. Like I said though, what makes this game unique is the fact that instead of the game recruiting the party members for you, you can capture the party members you want to have. To which, if you see here, I don't know how he managed to capture and team the baddies with whatever he's doing, but it somehow works. Ah. And you won't need maze to enjoy the story mode of this game, as it's actually pretty cool. You and your friends actually team up with the main baddies of this game, Gourmet Corp, to defeat this game exclusive boss called Depthcore Timima, who's trying to rule the edible world. Alright. Enough jokes. To summarize, the World of Toriko holds dear to me. The series is all about sensory experiences, the sense of adventure, and that drive to success via making the best food in the world. And these games are a great representation of that, and I highly recommend you check them out. After all, life is too short for bland favors. Spice it up, enjoy new tastes, and let your palate dance with excitement. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm up to enjoy some new tastes on my own. My next adventure is going to be on the Renouing Kenshin games. Until next time, say no, motherfucker.